I clearly awaken the world's only 6's level contract talent, but the Academy still deem me a useless waste. This is only because I can sign contracts with creatures of any level and freely manipulate their flesh and souls. Although this ability is powerful, it has one very obvious drawback. The contracted creature must voluntarily consume a contract gem while fully aware of the implications. Even a slight resistance from the soul renders it ineffective. But what creature would willingly hand over control of its life to someone else? Seeing my despair, my childhood friend Su Jingyao comforted me. Don't give up so early, the world is vast. Surely there are creatures willing to let you control them. I just smiled indifferently, easy for you to say. Besides myself, who else would be willing? Myself. An idea struck me, and I swallowed the contract gem in one gulp, if I can perfectly control myself. Wouldn't that be the legendary 100% control over one's body? After swallowing the gem, my body underwent slight changes, and streams of green gas visible only to me drifted into the air. Su Jingyao anxiously asked if I was all right, to which I took my head smiling. Don't do this again, that was really scary. Seeing I was fine, she breathed a sigh of relief and turned to head back to the dormitory. She was joining the patrol team the next morning. Protecting our homeland had always been her dream, and me, deemed useless, was assigned a farmer's job by the school, so it might be difficult to see each other again in the future. As she was leaving, she gave me a look, the reluctance hidden deep in her eyes. Harding was indeed hard. I really wanted to give her a hug. Just as the thought crossed my mind, my body moved on its own and hugged her tightly. Months later, Su Jingyao shyly pushed me away and left to take care before running back to the dormitory. I stood there deep in thought. My body had unconsciously hugged her. Had I subconsciously commanded myself, I needed to confirm the extent of my control. After some testing, I finally concluded, I can now confidently say that I can make my body perform any action as long as it does not exceed the limits of a normal human, such as flying or transforming into another species. Moreover, I can perform some movements impressively well, even without prior practice, based solely on memory. So, theoretically, as long as my physical condition is up to standard, I can master any martial art. If I want to get stronger, all I need to do is improve my physical fitness. However, there's still one thing I need to verify. Time quickly advanced to the next day. Before sleeping, I had commanded myself to wake up at 4 a.m. to go running. Although my consciousness was still asleep, my body moved on its own. This state was somewhat akin to sleepwalking. By 6 o'clock, when I came to, I was already sitting in the cafeteria. Seeing the scene before me, a smile curled at the corner of my mouth. As I had guessed, my body could indeed execute commands, while my brain was unconscious. I wonder if anyone noticed me. Just as I was looking around, suddenly there was a commotion among many students nearby. Luo Shiyu is here. Luo Shiyu is the school beauty. Most terrifyingly, she captivates both genders with admirers among not only the male students, but also numerous female ones. As I turned towards the voice, my pupils dilated and I froze on the spot. In my memory, Luo Shiyu was a slender and beautiful girl. What stood before me was a 2-meter-tall giant. It wore a girl's face on its forehead and brazenly stood among everyone. However, everyone else seemed oblivious, gazing at it adoringly. Good morning, Zhangping. The giant fox greeted me with a raspy voice as it passed by me. You don't look too well. Are you sick? I commanded myself to stay calm, nodding without changing my expression. Good morning, Luo Shiyu. I just had a nightmare last night and didn't sleep well. I have classes soon, so I need to go. With that, I got up and left the cafeteria as usual. Why are there mutated beasts in the school? Hasn't anyone noticed them? Am I seeing things? I need to report this to a teacher immediately. I quickly made my way to the staff room, only to see that one of the teachers was also a fox wearing human skin. Seeing this, I walked past the staff room without changing my expression, not seeking help inside. It seems the teachers might not be reliable either. The human skins on those 2 mutated beasts were very old, clearly indicating that they had been lurking in the school for more than just a day or two. But before swallowing the contract gem, I was unaware of Luo Shiyu and that unknown teacher being mutated beasts, just like most of my classmates. So, this change must stem from the contract gem I swallowed. Since the change originated from the gem I ate yesterday, what would happen if I ate another? I picked up another contract gem and swallowed it again. This time, it felt like a transcendence. Upon opening my eyes, the world seemed brighter and more vivid. As I looked, a pool of illusory blood appeared on the previously blank ground. A prompt voice sounded in my ears, appraisal successful, replaying the footage. The voice ended, and a horrifying scene emerged before my eyes. A giant fox wearing human skin was gnawing on a person's head. Could this be the awakening of an appraisal spell? I looked at my palm in confusion, and indeed found identifying summon beast. Zhangping, master, Zhangping. Species, human. Growth value, 3 stars. Contract gem level 1. By consuming physical and mental energy, a contract gem is formed. Once the target voluntarily accepts the contract gem, their life, soul, and consciousness are dominated by the summoner. Absolute command. You have absolute dominance over summoned beasts, and they cannot defy your commands. Absolute obedience. You will absolutely obey the summoner's commands and loyally execute every order given by the summoner. Appraisal spell. You can see the specific values of the target and perform identifications. The success rate of the identification depends on the power disparity between the parties. And this talent came unexpectedly. Could it be related to the gem I consumed again? With this question, I returned to the classroom to analyze the current situation. I have now become my own summoner and summoned beast, controlled only by the summoner. Myself, my body and mind are immune to external interference, so all are ineffective against me. This allows me to see the true forms of the mutated beasts. These beasts are all natural order foxes, high-level creatures. I'm currently only at level 1, no match for them. The natural order foxes use an extraordinary ability called cognitive distortion that makes even cannibalism appear as a normal conversation to others. After class at noon, I quickly ate lunch and left the school. I had already thought of an excuse to visit the patrol team to find Su Jingyao and to see how many mutated beasts were in the city. Along the way, I spotted many natural order foxes confidently walking on the streets, some even conversing convincingly with people. 2 hours later, I arrived at the headquarters of the patrol team and approached the information desk to ask, "Excuse me, I'm looking for someone." A natural order fox behind the counter spoke in a raspy voice. "Who are you looking for?" I replied without changing my expression. "Su Jingyao, she should have just reported here today." The natural order fox nodded and then checked the records. I waited in the lobby. Shortly after, a natural order fox wearing Su Jingyao's face on its forehead approached. "Xiangping, why are you here?" she asked. I looked at her and smiled. "I was mainly worried you wouldn't adapt well to the patrol team. How do you feel?" "The natural order." Fox pointed to its comrades behind it. "It's pretty good. They are all my teammates, and everyone takes good care of me. From now on, I need to strive to become stronger, to go out and fight mutated beasts, and to avenge my parents. By the way, we are still short of people. You want me to refer you to the patrol team?" Hearing this, I quickly waved my hands to decline. "It seems you've adapted well, so I won't bother you anymore." I turned and left the place, feeling dejected. "Goodbye, Su Jingyao," I murmured. After stepping outside, I clenched my fists in anger. What a joke. Wasn't the patrol team said to be the strongest in Pearl City? How could they have been wiped out? Su Jingyao had just arrived today, and she was already harmed. It seems the natural order fox's infiltration isn't limited to the school, but the entire city. Everyone in Pearl City is like livestock they keep. Next, I entered a diagonal restaurant not far away, which happened to have a view of the patrol team headquarters entrance. An afternoon passed, and I left there only after gathering the information I needed. Through the appraisal spell, I discovered that the natural order foxes are categorized into beginner, intermediate, advanced, and top levels. Most natural order foxes are between intermediate and advanced levels, but even the patrol team, which has a large number of high-level awakened, cannot contend with them. The natural order fox that killed Luo Xiu is very strong, and my intuition tells me that using the appraisal spell on it would reveal my location, so it's probably at the top level, or even a king-level entity. Other natural order foxes can defeat awakened above their level, surely because of its influence unlike ordinary mutated beasts. Natural order foxes are highly intelligent and skilled in disguise. On the surface, they coexist harmoniously with humans, but that's just a facade. Their primary targets are often people with strong abilities, great potential, or high social status. The rest of the people are just their reserve. Food confronting a natural order fox head-on is akin to seeking death, but I can't just watch as innocent people are sent to their deaths if I could become stronger while we. After a while, I emerged from the silence, and the sounds of crickets and frogs started again. I immediately cast the appraisal spell on myself. Suddenly, a new talent ability appeared within me. Nightwalker, gained night vision. Presence significantly reduced at night. Movement speed greatly increased. Body weight reduced. Being in the shadows allows for complete invisibility. Also, the contract gem has leveled up. Could this be related to my own level? Does every level up awaken a new talent? Wouldn't that make me invincible? There's no time to waste. I should go exercise now and test the effects of my new talent. It's just past 4 in the morning, still dark, and it's very quiet around, with only me running on the track. After gaining the Nightwalker ability, I've found that my vision is even better at night than during the day. A ring on the ground caught my attention. It is a dark silver ring, and I wonder who dropped it here. Although the material of the ring doesn't look particularly valuable, it is finely crafted, and the patterns on it are very intricate, not like a mere decoration. I tried to use the appraisal spell on it, but failed several times in succession. It took more than 10 attempts before I could identify the properties of the ring. Assassination. Once worn, all living beings will subconsciously ignore the wearer, although those above advanced awakened are immune. At the same time as the identification was successful, a replay of a previous seen Natural Order ally appeared before my eyes. I saw a man in white clothes wearing a black mask fighting with Luo Xiu on the track. But the man was clearly no match for Luo Xiu. Not only was he cut off 3 fingers, but he was also bisected at the waist. Luo Xiu is an orphan, and given her character, she wouldn't make enemies. There's only one possibility then. There are others in Pearl City secretly fighting these monsters. As I was pondering, suddenly a raspy voice of a Natural Order fox came from afar. "Who's there?" The Natural Order fox jumped onto the track, crouched down, and carefully sniffed the surrounding scents. The track had a mix of scents, but it could distinguish the time these scents were left. However, after some searching, it subconsciously ignored a certain scent, thus finding nothing. No scent. How was that possible? I must quickly notify His Royal Highness. I used the effect of Nightwalker to hide nearby, watching the Natural Order fox leave the track and breathe a sigh of relief. Could this ring be a bait left by the Natural Order fox? Whether this ring is a bait or not, I've already picked it up. It would be more suspicious to put it back deliberately now, so I have to keep it. The sky is gradually brightening, and it's now 5:30 in the morning. I've also returned to my dorm. The assassination ring made me realize that power is not limited to one's own strength, and there are many magical equipment in Pearl City. These equipment are generally made by blacksmiths and have special abilities. I decided to go out tonight to investigate and see the prices of such equipment. At that moment, a voice suddenly entered my mind. "Zhang Ping, it's dangerous. Hide. They're here." This voice was familiar. It was Su Jingyao's voice. A few minutes later, Luo Xiu pushed open the door and leisurely walked into the dormitory. She made a round inside the room, then approached me, lowering her head to look me in the eye. In the quiet dormitory, only my steady breathing could be heard. Luo Xiu's narrow fox eyes slightly narrowed, and she extended a paw towards my head, but stopped at the last moment expressionless. If this waste were a fish that slipped through the net, he would definitely jump up and fight for his life. Moreover, I do not sense the ring's aura. After pondering, she slowly withdrew her claw. A Natural Order fox behind her asked confusedly, "Your Highness, why not kill him?" This person jogs every morning. Yet he did not go today, which is certainly suspicious. Luo Xiu coldly shook her head. "It's not him. Do not waste food." The Natural Order fox behind her immediately realized it had spoken out of turn, quickly lowered its head and tail, showing submission. Half an hour later, the MI, who was in a deep sleep in the dorms, suddenly opened my eyes. Only after confirming that the Natural Order fox had left did I relax. That was close. Scared me to death. I actually forgot my daily morning jogging habit, but fortunately, I had commanded my body to forcefully sleep, not showing any flaws. Speaking of which, I seem to have heard Su Jingyao's voice earlier. Was it just an illusion? Afterward, I went to the cafeteria as usual. Just as I got there, I heard many students discussing. Black Death Star died, right next to the school. Black Death Star was a notorious assassin in Pearl City, willing to kill anyone for the right price, even the City Lord himself. It is said that the former City Lord was wounded by Black Death Star and later died young due to the recurring old wounds. Could Black Death Star be the man in white who tried to assassinate Luo Xiu last night? Even the top assassin was easily killed. Luo Xiu's strength is indeed unfathomable. Was displaying the corpse publicly intended to warn those forces opposing the Natural Order foxes? They will surely heighten their guard now. I need to find some equipment for protection soon. After class, I'll visit the blacksmith shop. In the afternoon after school, I stopped at a street corner, my gaze turning towards a nearby shop, discovering that its owner was a Natural Order fox. "Young man, come in and have a look." Hearing this, I waved my hands repeatedly, politely refusing it. The priority was to find a shop not controlled by them. Half an hour later, I arrived at a weapons shop called Iron Soul. After observing, I found that the shop had few customers, mostly adventurers. Looking at the shop's condition, the owner was human, not a Natural Order fox. Inside the shop, a man in his 30s was demonstrating a fine sword, swinging shop owner. "This is top quality merchandise. If you're willing to buy, I'll give you the lowest price, though it pains me to do so." The shop owner, older and seemingly a bit senile, took a puff of his dry pipe and spoke slowly. "What did you say?" "My daughter is waiting for me to eat." Seeing his irrelevant answer, the young man became immediately infuriated. I then walked over and picked up his sword to appraise it. Ding. An ornate one-handed sword, ordinary quality. Looks good, but not practical. And it was broken before, poorly repaired. Upon seeing this, the young man furiously rushed forward to snatch it. Back, resulting in a snap as the sword broke in half. Damn it, daring to ruin my good deal. "Do you know who I am?" I am the direct disciple of Master Ma from the Jingyi Martial Arts Academy. Take this, 5-fold lightning assault." After shouting, he pounced like a cheetah. However, just as he got close, he was met with a forceful backhand slap from me. Identification. Name: Lu Bagua. Growth potential: 1 star. Primordial cheat. Any move performed comes with strong special effects abilities, earth-shattering, spectacular visual effects. This energy spell can only be seen by the user himself. Overuse may cause the user to become lost in their own world, unable to extricate themselves. Is this guy here for comedy? I turned away, not bothering with him. Unexpectedly, he tried a sneak attack, but was discovered and knocked down with 1 punch. Just then, a woman's voice came from outside. "How long was I out that the shop has become so lively? Are you leaving on your own, or shall I send you off?" Seeing the woman's fierce demeanor, Lu Bagua panicked and hurriedly scrambled away. I was just about to leave, but she stopped me. "Don't go, let's talk." I asked her, puzzled. "Talk about what?" "Chokan, I am going to be the king of blacksmiths." A few days later, inside the blacksmith shop, Cho Kong nodded vigorously, instructing me to put the iron ingots and materials into the furnace while quickly stirring with her hand in the fire. It didn't look like weapon forging, but more like kneading dough. She explained, "Many of these materials need to be manually stirred evenly, so this method of forging is also called dough kneading forging technique." She went to get a mold for me to operate on my own, just instructing me to make sure the fire doesn't go out. I nodded and gradually added the materials. Unexpectedly, I added too much, and the intent flames suddenly exploded, causing a burning sensation in my stomach, making me gasp in cold air. Who knew that with this gasp? The flames in the furnace were sucked up into my nose like water flowing. This warm flame entered my heart through my throat. Having sucked away too much heat, the fire on the furnace went out immediately. I clutched my chest and hurriedly checked my attributes. Identification successful. Summon beast. Zhangping level. 3 growth potential. 4 stars. I also gained the ability of a fire devourer. I can transform flames consumed into fire elemental power stored within my body and release energy at any time until the stored fire energy is depleted. While I was checking, Cho Kong hurried in and asked, "What happened in here? You didn't throw the scarlet serpent scale into the furnace? That stuff explodes. It's my fault, I forgot to tell you." I scratched my head awkwardly, offering to pay for the damages in the house. Cho Kong smiled and replied, "No need, as long as you are all right. The materials merged so well, which requires extremely high temperatures to achieve. You really have a talent. The school really missed out on you. With your current performance, it's more than sufficient to enter the 3 big organizations." I became curious and asked. Everyone always refers to the patrol and investigation teams as the top 3 organizations. What's the 3rd one called? Sister Cho Kong said she didn't know what the organization was called, and what it does is unknown. After saying this, she handed me the newly forged weapon. The weapon is called Beauty's Tear, made from cold iron, and can easily damage intermediate level mutated beasts, level 10 to 19. Judging by the market price of materials, a weapon made from cold iron is worth 3 years of my salary for intermediate level mutated beasts. This weapon could be worth tens of thousands, is it something? I, with a monthly salary of 3,000, can accept hearing. The Sister Chakong chuckled. "Consider a reward for your progress. I have other tasks to attend to, so I must leave. Now, take good care of the old master. He's a bit senile, and make sure he doesn't open the store for business hearing this." I nodded gratefully. Although the blacksmith shop isn't often open, and hasn't been targeted by the natural order, Fox, the noise just now, might attract their attention. I should take advantage of the darkness and patrol the area using my Nightwalker ability. After patrolling for a while, I discovered a mutated beast disguised as a little girl. It's the first time I've seen a natural order fox with such low growth potential. Species. Mutated fox. Same as me. Level 3. With my equipped gear, I should be able to defeat it. With this in mind, I picked up my weapon and stealthily approached, but just then a burst of cold air hit my back, followed by a chilling female voice by my ear. "Are you about to attack a child? Don't move, or I will kill you." If you don't find me at the orphanage training grounds after she spoke, the chill behind me slowly dissipated. It seems she is not allied with the natural order fox. Otherwise, I'd be dead by now. I grew up in an orphanage and often practiced Jade 8 Fist in a small park nearby, so I named it Orphanage Training Grounds. That woman knows me otherwise. How would she know my secret? Not only that, but she also knows my past. She's been watching me, so she stopped me just as I was about to make a move. She must have a reason for drawing me here. As I approached the park, I felt like someone was watching. It seems there are others in these woods. A rat about the size of an adult house cat slowly emerged from behind a tree. This was a mutated beast. Identification successful. Mutated beast. Armored venom tail rat species. Mutated rat level. 5. The bone spike at the end of its tail contains potent poison. This poison rat is 2 levels higher than me, but it seems quite cautious. Slowly retreating should allow me to escape. But if I don't deal with it now, the children from the orphanage might encounter it when they come to play in the park tomorrow. It's just one mutated beast, and with the equipment Sister Cho gave me, I can win. After a brief analysis, I tightly gripped the dagger, opting to strike first. I instantly exerted force under my feet, and like a cheetah, I charged out into the night. The armored venom tail rat did not dodge either. It curled up into a ball and quickly counterattacked. The rat's fur is extremely tough, and even though my dagger is razor sharp, most of the force was absorbed, making it difficult to inflict any damage. After a standoff, the armored venom tail rat retreated and created some distance. Its crimson eyes glared at me, its tail spraying several globs of poison. Although I don't have much combat experience, I can command my summoned beast, Zhangping, to fight as if I were issuing commands in a game, dodging left and right. By observing, I discover that its eyes are its weak spot. Only the eyes are not covered by the armor, but it curls up in defense, which is a bit tricky. I need to find a way to break its posture. I've got it. First, issue the command, Pearl Fist Rat Buster style. This move is powerful and imposing, focusing on using size advantage to overpower smaller enemies. First, attack the right side of the armored venom tail rat, and while it's curled up, release the ignited fire elemental energy. Finally, as it uncurls its defense, strike directly at its weak spot. The eyes, with the dagger and a swift thrust in the blink of an eye, the battle is over. After defeating this mutated beast, my level has also increased to 4. Indeed, actual combat is much faster for leveling up than training. Speaking of which, the appearance of this poison rat is somewhat strange. Besides the natural order fox, there shouldn't be other mutated beasts in the city. Just as I thought that a black circle suddenly appeared under my feet. The moment I saw the black circle, I tried to jump away, but the next second I fell into it. The darkness inside the black circle was not ordinary night, but a kind of darkness where nothing can be seen. I could feel myself falling rapidly, but there was nothing I could do about it. It took about 30 seconds before I came to a stop. My body was covered in a blue liquid that clung to me like a gel suit, leaving only my head exposed. Before I could figure out what was going on, I saw a woman in white clothes and an ice mask standing in front of me, holding an ice. As soon as I saw her, she placed the sword against my neck. The chill from the sword blade quickly made me much more alert. A familiar voice came from the woman. Now you have 5 minutes to prove you're human. Prove I'm human? I am human. How should I prove it? Perhaps she too has noticed the mutated beasts lurking in the city, but can't differentiate them. So she's asking me to prove myself? Could that poison rat have been her test for me? Can you give a hint? Looking at the woman in front of me, I suddenly felt a bit of a headache. The woman remained silent, just waiting for my proof. Identify. I thought about it and simply decided to use the appraisal spell on the woman. Identification failed. The identification failed. After a series of failures, it finally succeeded 2 minutes later. Name: Lucis Hun species, human affiliation, purge squad potential, 5 stars. Level: 28. Talent: water, elemental manipulation. To have level 28. No wonder it was so hard to identify. Her faction is Purge Squad. I've never heard of it. Could it be the third major organization besides the patrol and investigation teams? I didn't continue to think further. After all, the most important thing now is to prove that I am human, not a mutated beast. She refers to this small park as a training ground, so she must be from the orphanage, like me. However, I don't recall anyone named Lu Sishan from the orphanage. If she came from there, she must have changed her name. I tentatively listed the names with the surname Lu. Are you Lu Turin, Lu Isho, Lu Shuixing, Lu Xinyu, Lu Sisi? When I said the name Lu Sisi, she visibly flinched. It seems she is Lu Sisi. I remember she was 3 years older than me. When I entered Pearl Academy, she had already graduated and joined the investigation team. We practiced martial arts together for a few days as children. At that time, she taught me earth-shattering Cici's invincible fist very seriously, and I actually believed it. First move, second move, Iha, third move, Ha, He Ha, earth-shattering Cici's invincible fist. To prove I am human, I recited the martial arts chant Lu Cici taught me back then. An only calm and composed Lao Sishan was suddenly extremely embarrassed. She looked at me and said, "Second question, according to investigations, your ability involves the contract gem, which was rated as useless because it didn't meet the activation conditions. Why has your behavior been so unusual recently?" I answered truthfully. 2 weeks ago, I swallowed a contract gem, became a summoned beast, and am only controlled by myself. I can see through their disguises. Based on my recent investigations, there are a large number of natural order foxes lurking in the city. I suspect a clan has invaded Pearl City. Their inherent racial ability is cognitive distortion. Lu Cixin skeptically asked whether what I was saying was true. I methodically continued to add, the proprietress of one, the owner of Joe and Furniture, the 3 blacksmiths at Dragon Spear's Long Weapon Workshop. These are all lower-level natural order foxes. You could start by verifying this. Lu Cixin pondered for a moment, looked at me, then pressed the communicator and relayed my words to her teammate. A teammate named John Bow spoke up. There have never been any mutated beasts known as natural order foxes near Pearl City. However, the abilities cognitive distortion have appeared in the past. We've already sent people to capture the most recent 2. They should be back soon. As soon as the word fell, suddenly there came a loud noise. The breakfast shop owner who had been captured went into a frenzy. Jingbo stepped forward and punched the woman directly in the chest. As the woman died, the disguised natural order fox revealed its true form. Meanwhile, in the academy, Luo Shiyu, who was resting, suddenly opened her eyes. A natural order fox asked, "What's wrong?" Luo Shiyu looked around and said, "Yu-Gi-Oh is dead. Someone has killed Yu-Gi-Oh." First part ends here. Wait for second part, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Audience from TikTok or Instagram, don't forget to comment in this video.